You joined me with the parts from our previous Sansui video, and now it's time to test and see what works, what needs to be replaced, what can be sold, and how we're going to tie in all the other parts we looked at in the previous videos. Let's give it a shot.
So the monitor is turned on. Let's give it some power. And short the power on pins. And for cooling, I'll just put my cool drink on the CPU. However, nothing happened. So let's plug in a fan, see if that makes any difference. And while the fan spins, so clearly there is power, we get no picture. So let's reseat the RAM. And give the CPU a good blowjob as well. So I by now have it plugged into the LCD monitor just in case something's wrong with the CRT, but still no dice. So I thought maybe the onboard video is bad and gave it a graphics card to see if that solves the problem. But still, no image. So last, let's plug in a speaker and listen for BIOS error codes. And that is a lot of beeps, more than what is mentioned in the AMI BIOS troubleshooting code, so I guess this board is just dead. Let's try the AM1 from the first video just to ensure that the power supply and the monitor is working. And there it goes. And as luck would have it, our CRT is definitely working. As is the power supply. So that's good. And it's got a pretty comprehensive on-screen display as well. Let's check in on those ports. Nice and steamy. These cleaned out really well. I think the engine oil remover did its bit. No dust on any of these parts anymore. So I'm just going to leave them out to dry. And just wipe off any excess moisture that's still inside the case. Now it's time for the morning dishes and the motherboard. And let's add a good blob of luxury hand wash cleaner, just to get the fragrance right. This is the power supply that I will be using. It's the Voltron 235FX with extended voltage range 170 volt to 240. I've never heard of anywhere that runs on 170 volts, but okay. And for a motherboard, I think this AM4 would be the ultimate to build a sleeper PC in this Sansui case. So let's get all these parts together and start building. Now as you can see here, the case cleaned out really nicely, the front panel looks great. And there's no dust anywhere, and it clicks in nice and firmly. Back in goes our side vent, also very clean, just like new. And in goes our I/O back shield and the motherboard. We're going to need some storage, so let me throw in M.2 SSD. Well, there we go, thrown in. And in goes our brand new RAM, as well as our brand new power supply, which came with the wrong plug for this country, but anyways. This will make a perfect fit for this retro PC, a Blu-ray drive. So by now I figured out you don't have to remove the whole front panel just to install a drive. These covers clip out, which is pretty cool. At least I figured it out in the end. When I wanted to connect the SATA power, I saw that one of the pins on the one SATA plug was completely loose, and looking inside it, the cable wasn't even crimped on correctly. So I'm not sure how this power supply got past quality control, but yeah, that's not good. And this is the final build. With a bit of cable management, I think we're ready to give it a try. And we've got power, the motherboard is glowing. A nice satisfactory click with a big blue LED. RGB power supply. And we have a display telling us that the TPM on the processor has been changed. The fan was very noisy and I wasn't sure if it was a CPU fan or the power supply fan, so I stopped the CPU fan, and it definitely is that power supply. Yes, it is noisy. See if our drives work. Nice. A pirated copy of 51st Dates. I'll just leave it in there. So let's install an operating system. I'm going to load Windows 11. And there it is, Windows 11 being installed on a CRT monitor computer. However, that broken SATA plug and the noisy fan made me decide to swap back in the original power supply. And it ran about the same volume, and obviously with no broken plugs.
So that's something you don't see every day. A CRT monitor, and it's running a computer with a Ryzen 7 processor. The power supply that had that broken plug was returned and I got refunded on that, so that is good. The old motherboard, it did the exact same thing after going through the dishwasher, so no changes there, and I actually sold it for a very small amount, but it's better than nothing. The hard drive, I did try to revive the Windows installation on that, but with no success, so I just installed a fresh copy of Windows 10 on it, and it's currently sitting in my parts bin waiting for a future build. But that is it for this computer. I sold it after installing the AM1 motherboard we saw in the first video, and the very same day I decided to get myself another low power AMD ITX motherboard. And to see more of that and where it goes, you'll have to watch the next video. Thanks for watching.